afternoon, traders. Chris Weston here, Head of Research at Pepperstone. It's been a very interesting day today. Of course, we kept our eye firmly on the different congressional battles that have been taking place. We've still got the Brexit scenario firmly in our minds. We've still got the 2016 elections firmly in our minds as well, and the idea that we could get some sort of upset. It's always been the base case that we were going to get a split Congress, and according to CNN and Fox News, that has now been called, and we are going to see a Democrat-controlled House, and we're going to see the Republicans maintain control of the lower house or the Senate, and that will take place for another couple of years. But certainly, voter turnout has been pretty good, but the market hasn't been surprised by what they've seen. Okay, I think around about sort of midday today, we did see a few wobbles. There was a few seats that were picked up by the opposition party, which weren't perhaps gone to script, and we saw the US dollar having a bit of a moment around sort of 12 o'clock. We saw some big spikes in dollar yen. They came off again. Euro dollar had some big moves, but now we've got the situation where we are getting some certainty, and that, you know, while I talk now, it's 20 past 3 in the afternoon. And of course, yeah, we have to see that actually being officially confirmed, but there have been a few agencies now confirming this on the wires. It's interesting to see how markets trade going forward, because the platform has been set where we are starting to see some buying in emerging markets. If you look at dollar Mexico, you know, that's starting to fall. The Mexican peso is working quite nicely. The Indian rupiah is working quite nicely. The Australian dollar is pushing up to 72.50. We're finding some buyers there as we're seeing some Chinese equity outperformance. I want to see at the end of the day just the flows going through the northbound connect, going through into the Chinese mainland markets, but we are seeing Hong Kong and mainland China outperforming today, and I think that's probably likely a trade that's going to come through. I think when you mix in the idea that you are going to see a split Congress with all this stimulus that we've been seeing, be it through issues to try and boost the stock market, or whether it's going to be to try and boost consumption through lower taxes in China, you know, the chance of outperformance in that market is certainly very strong. Dollar yen hasn't had too much of a move on a net basis today, but you know, we are starting to see those emerging market assets working quite nicely. And also, if you look in the fixed income market, you know, if you have a look at the US 10-year now, we are starting to see people looking to buy duration. The 10-year is down 4 basis points. Whether that continues through European and US trade is yet to be seen. But, you know, people are starting to dip their toe in. The idea that we are going to see less chance for fiscal expansion playing through, the idea that, you know, perhaps there's not really going to be too much from spending. Infrastructure is clearly not see the light of day now. In terms of taxes, probably the most we're going to get now is the idea that the Democrat Party may try and pass legislation to try and make the 2017 taxes more favourable for lower income earners. That's probably not going to be huge in terms of the impact on growth. You know, all of these measures are not going to be particularly bad for the Treasury market. In fact, we're starting to see buyers playing through there. That could be a bit of a headwind for the US dollar in the short term, but we are seeing some short covering from emerging market assets, and that's really benefiting the Kiwi and also the Australian dollar there as well. The ASX is up a touch on the day. We're seeing financials doing okay, but it's generally REITs that are putting in the points today, and that's a reflection of a good bid that's coming through in fixed income markets. Yeah, we want to have a look at trade as well. It would be interesting to see you know, what happens around trade, but certainly there is an opportunity here for the Democrats to now scupper the US-Mexico relations, or the agreement that was put in place recently. It's uncertain how this feeds into trade tensions with China, but clearly, you know, China would be fairly happy and fairly comfortable with the result that they've been seeing there as well. I want to have a look at legislative issues that are playing through now. Whether the Democrats come out and immediately investigate Trump's tax situation, whether we see the reopening of the House investigation into Russia's involvement in the 2016 elections, whether or not, you know, other various factors playing through, including the Mueller investigation. All of these factors are not going to be taken as a US dollar positive. They're not going to be good for the stock market in any kind of shape or form. But yet we'll have to see how that plays through. But we are going to see gridlock now in the Senate. Yeah, we're going to be talking in 2019, probably somewhere halfway through the year, about the debt ceiling debate, a government shutdown, spending, and all those various factors as well. And, you know, whenever we've seen this become a volatility event, it's involved a split Congress there as well. S&P futures are up a touch on the day. They were seeing some signs of volatility, but they're settled at the moment. So I think there's been you know, the wash up of this is this was a largely expected result. We've been talking about it for some time, but we are seeing emerging markets starting to find some life again. The Treasury markets are finding buyers at the back end of the curve, and that's something we watch as we go through US trade today.